Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye
Yasyatasya Bhadreshu
Vishnaprayesha Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
So we are doing chapter 10, Canto 7, the Signs of God. Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. A big chapter. So text 4.
Nanyata te kila guru
Nanyata te kila guru
Gateta karunatmana
Gateta karunaatmana
Vyasta ashesha
Yasta asesha
Nasa vritya savaivanik
Nasa Vritya Savaivanik.
Otherwise, O my Lord, O Supreme Instructor of the entire world, you are so kind to your devotee that you could not induce him to do something unbeneficial for him. On the other hand, one who desires some material benefit in exchange for devotional service cannot be your pure devotee. Indeed, he is no better than a merchant who wants profit in exchange for service. So here he's saying you are trying to show the world what a devotee is, basically. Right? So, and you can see how the nature of a devotee is. Mostly you find, right, when you go to temple, people come there not for devotional advancements. People come for
Benefit.
some material things, right? Like Krishna says, right, 4 types of devotees, right?
Chaturveda.
Yeah. Artha,
Jignasu.
Jnani, Jignasu, Jnana. Right? And Prabhupada also quotes that, Artha, Jignasu, Artha. So they generally they come there for some material benefit. And Prahlad Maharaj says, if you go to the temple and you ask something, then you are like a merchant. Means you are like a business guy, trying to make a business deal with the Lord.
Practically, before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was just asking for something all the time.
But like what you'll ask normally?
Like maybe some exams or,
Yeah, that's generally that's mostly people will say.
or some
exam,
health,
right?
good health or job.
Job,
A good wife.
good wife.
Krishna.
Too young to work.
No, it's right. People come there, right?
Or a lot of money.
Lot of money. Yeah, they look at each other to see whether there's a prospective wife or husband. So it's all. That's what he's saying, you know? And this is spoken millions of years ago, and it's still the same now. So the whole idea is profiteering. That means benefit of the person asking. So what happens is the Lord becomes the order supplier. Our hero is here. Bengali boy is here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice to see you.
Bengali.
He reminds me of Bengali boys. Mayapur. That's right. Yeah, so we go and try to make a deal with the Lord. We are hoping to get something. And interestingly is we are not offering anything. We are just saying you give, you know. So Prabhupada says that's like an order supplier. So in the first sentence, Srila Prabhupada says, he says it's sometimes found. He's been generous actually. When he says it is sometimes found. It's always found.
Always.
So they are like mercantile men. And then later on, Srila Prabhupada says, these people are all who come to see Krishna in the temple are pious people. So Sukriti. right?
Hmm.
Pious, because in their distress or need for money, they all approach the Supreme Lord. Interestingly, if you're not a pious person, you won't come and ask Krishna. That's interesting.
Depression.
Huh?
People go into depression but not come to.
Depression? No, I'm saying pious people come, he says. So that means impious people don't come to the temple. It's quite interesting. Either impious, either that they don't have faith, or impious because if they are covered by this material energy so bad that they cannot accept that the Lord can help them. Sometimes you can tell friends that you're feeling so depressed, why didn't you come to the temple? They will say no.
Yeah.
I don't want to come. I don't believe like that. So that's a conditioning. And Srila Prabhupada says, not just only impious people who don't come, he says if you come and ask something from the Lord, then you are a materialistic person, first of all. And therefore one should say or conclude that if you go and ask the Lord for material things, you are not a pure devotee. That's a given. So he says one who's concerned with material benefits cannot be a pure devotee. Of course, his definition of pure devotee, devotional service is
Anya Vilashita.
yes. Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana
Anukulya Krishna.
Shilanam Bhakti. So what's that translation?
Pure devotional service. Good.
Pure devotion service means one
Is unmotivated,
unmotivatedly-
uninterrupted.
without any tinge of jnana or karma.
And mental
Mental
speculation.
speculation.
And monistic philosophy.
Monistic.
Okay. No karma, no jnana, no speculative understanding of Krishna.
Only acting only for the pleasure.
Yeah, unmotivated.
Ananda.
That means they don't want anything and continuous uninterrupted service.
Which is favorable to the Lord.
Favorable to-
Yes, which is as what the Lord wants, not what you want. So
should be for
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada highlights that from Bhakti
The service.
Rasamrita Sindhu. It says that's important.
There is a question
Yes.
about the impious people. So is there no way like we can bring them towards Krishna consciousness, or
Yeah, you can create some sukriti for them. Generally, if they are very inimical, it's very hard to help them. So you induce them by cooking prasadam for them. Sometimes they are so impious, if they find out it's prasadam, they don't touch. So you have to be very smart.
That's a great idea.
So like in the home, you cook, let's say your husband didn't know is against Krishna. So you give him prasadam, he'll say, no, I don't want. You cook separate for me. Then you must be smart. You offer it in your mind and you give him, and then he'll take prasad. So that's how you can help them. Oh, you got an Harinam. When they hear the holy name, it'll purify them slowly. So that's how we help the pious people. Or we give free food on festival day, or even in Harinam we give them something. They don't mind getting something free. So by that you catch them like that. So in any case, there's a difference between making the Lord the order supplier than begging from him some mercy for devotion. So that's what Srila Prabhupada wants to highlight. So he says the same materialists, they come to the temple, they also offer flowers, foodstuffs to the Lord. But actually they have something in their mind. That's why they also give him. Right? Okay, I'm giving you some fruit, but you better give me lots of money. Right? Or they put $1 in the undi and expect.
But Prabhu,
Yeah.
that thing actually is only
In what?
in Indian.
Indian mentality.
Yeah, but these other people,
They're different.
they do.
They are willing to give.
Yeah,
charity.
they go. Whoever goes to the temple, I don't think they actually ask anything. they keep giving
The church.
the churches and everything? Because
Do they have faith?
No. Mostly they have faith, so they give. There's a different. The consciousness is slightly.
but
different.
why, Prabhu? Only in Indian that mentality it is there. I have done
It's a
myself.
cultural
actually.
problem.
Karma
It's a
kanda.
cultural problem because the emphasis has been from Vedic civilization, where the worship of Krishna was so intense. Then, when over the generation, over a period of few 1,000 years, the emphasis has become more
Karma.
towards economic position. So the Britishers and all, when they come, they destroyed the way the culture was moving on, and then they make them think wealth is more important. Or like Prabhupada says, they have taken away Narayana, but they won Lakshmi.
Mm.
So and it's true, they have only worshipped Lakshmi more seriously. Yeah, and it's interesting. You see that it's only Indians who are. Two things: they know the value of money. Because they understand the value of money, they have put more emphasis on the use of money rather than the service to the Lord.
Mm.
So over the last 100, 200 years, the people who profess to teach spiritual or transcendental knowledge have emphasized impersonalism and so on. So people have lost faith in all those things, and they have cheated them and so on, right? Even and then they could give names like Daridara Narayana and all this. So then practically they don't respect them anymore. So they come to the conclusion this guy is just taking money.
Yeah, it is very rare to actually find people who really worship Narayana. They worship everybody else,
Yeah,
but they don't actually worship
Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord. Like they do Satyanarayana Puja.
Yeah,
those
so they
things
don't
are-
mind doing charity, those
Yeah.
kind of thing, Annadana, all
Yeah.
those they
Yeah.
will do.
Lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
Especially like I come from village, right? Even though my father is a teacher. None of
oh
them-
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The whole culture has been diverted. So, from God-centric to economy. That's why now they have become successful in IT, and so they even reject further. They say this now India is successful. That's the thing.
Krishna doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah,
Krishna doesn't want to do anything.
even Krishna. No, he's sending all the devotees. But the other people are not interested.
What do Christians pray for?
What do they say?
Daily bread is not.
That's it, huh? He was asking.
So what I mean, Indians, we see they're fruity-minded, but what about Christians? What do they actually look for when they go to church?
See, the philosophy, Christian philosophy is if you worship, they'll get material things.
Oh,
Mm.
automatically, we don't need to
Yeah,
ask.
they don't. So they give in charity without worrying. They think they have a faith that the Lord is going to give me that good life, and they don't have so many restrictions if you compare.
Mm.
So they believe in working hard and then
Yeah.
going to church and be good, doing good to others. Like many Indians are like that also nowadays. Yeah. But when it comes to charity, there's a cultural gap.
They give a lot.
Yeah,
They give a lot.
they don't mind giving it, whereas Indians are very miserly. They become more miserly. So in any way, Prabhupada mentioned mentality is like that. They come for material benefits. So therefore, even if they bring some fruits or flour, it's only to do some business with the Supreme Lord. I've given you some fruits, you should give me something. So therefore, Prabhupada says they are not considered as pure devotees. Yeah. So then, text 5.
Asasano na vaibritya
Asasano na vaibritya
Swamini asishatmana
Swamini asishatmanaha
Swami
Vritti sahasramyam
A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benedictions upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as master is also not a pure master. Maybe you want to close the window. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada highlights the fact that there are people who want money from the master. That's why they want to even serve the master. They're not interested in any other thing. They just want the master to give them what they want, like that. And then he says there are also masters who want to show the servants that they are so wonderful. Say, I'm giving you something, I give you, so that they can be praised. They want the name and the fame, like that. In general, he says that kind of mentality are people who worship the demigods. So the demigods wants to be worshipped, and they want something from the demigods. So generally, that kind of mentality belong to a demigod worshipper. So therefore, he says, "Kamaishtaiste krita jnana prapadyante anya devata." So they surrender on to the demigods because of material desires. Of course, sometimes you may say, if they lack knowledge, you may say like that. But even if they have the knowledge, the question is, will they do it? Will they do it? Yeah, it's a very difficult situation for them. So Prabhupada says a demigod cannot become master, for the real master is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods, to keep their prestigious positions, bestow upon their worshippers whatever benedictions the worshippers want. So they ask and they feel like they are very good, I'm giving, and they also like that position. So even Lord Shiva also gets trapped by this thing, and Prabhupada gives the example of the Vikasura. But so it's a famous verse in 1088, where Maharaj Yudhishthira is asking about this: who's better? Why do the devotees of Lord Shiva is more opulent and Narayana devotees are Narayana? So in answer to that, this is the verse that is quoted: Yasyaham Anugunami Harishye Taddanam Shanai. Then Tatodanam Tyajante Asya Swajana Duka Duka. That means he will take away all the opulences that you have. Particularly, he'll take away your friends and relatives. First, he'll take away opulence, and then your friends and relatives will say, this guy has nothing, so they'll abandon you. And then you have nobody, so you have only one person to surrender. So that is the reason he takes away the opulences and your companions, so that you can become Krishna's servant. Willingly. This is called special mercy, actually. This particular the Lord taking, Srila Prabhupada himself says in his Leelamrita, you'll see that he said when he was trying to be successful in his business and everything, he tried so hard, wasn't successful at all. Then later on, he was. He also remembers that he went on he even tried the spiritual life, and he said he tried to start the League of Devotees, and he was not successful. Then he went down the streets to sell book, and a cow came and gored him, and he was left. And he said when he started the movement, he can remember all those things, and then he said he gave him pleasure because he can see the Lord was trying to take away all this so that he can completely surrender. So if Prabhupada had to go through just to surrender like that, what is our situation, right? So what he went through, he has made it easier for us to surrender. That's the difference.
It shows to glorify a devotee. When the difficulties come, it shows how glorious their life is.
Yes, in that sense. But I'm talking about how Srila Prabhupada has made it easier for us to surrender. Just do what we need at the temple, chanting, going on Harinam, book distribution. So these are some of the things you can do once a week at least, or once a month at least. You should take your children out and do books also, so they will also appreciate. And another interesting thing that Srila Prabhupada says, because Prahlad Maharaj is saying who's a pure devotee and who's a pure master. So he says one who has materialistic motivations, the last sentence, cannot become a servant. So if you join the movement with materialistic intention, you can never serve. Because you want to be served. So how can you become a servant? And one who unnecessarily bestows benedictions upon his servant to keep his own prestigious position is not a real master, right? Just like politicians, they give so many things, particularly in India, right? Those who vote for me, I'll give you TV, I'll give you something, right? Refrigerator in the village, huh? Cell phone. Yeah. So they because they want to maintain their status quo, like that. Text 6.
Aham Twalbhaktas
Aham Tvakavastvadbhaktas
Tvam cha Swami Anapashraya
Tvam cha Swami Anapashrayah
Nanyate Hayavor Artha
Nanyate Havayorartha
Raja Sevakaya Eva
Raja Sevakayorartha.
Oh my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. He doesn't want any benediction. So he just wants to have that relationship eternally. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to indicate that is our natural position. Jivera Swarupa, Krishnera Nityadas. But when we are separate of Krishna, we cannot be happy. Rather, we see him as our order supplier. When we are separate from Krishna, we don't see that relationship anymore. The relationship changes. We want to be the masters. And he becomes a servant to supply us like that. So we have to re-establish that relationship, the proper relationship. So Prabhupada says, unless this relationship between Supreme Lord and the subordinate living entity is established, there can be no real happiness. The living entity is ashraya, always subordinate, or one that takes shelter. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Vishaya, the supreme objective, the goal of life, one that gives shelter. Like that. But if you don't have that knowledge, then you don't surrender to Krishna. Rather, you want to be the master. But the whole idea is that we are supposed to become the servant of the servant. So, Lord Shiva explains to his wife that this is a famous verse from Padma Purana. Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tagyanam samarchanam. What he's saying is the best worship is Vishnu. There's so many types of worship going on in the Karma Kanda, so many things. But the best topmost worship is worshipping of Krishna or Vishnu. Aradhanam param, Vishnu aradhanam. And then he says, better than that is that which is connected to Tariyanam Samarchanam. That means that which is connected with Krishna, like Krishna's paraphernalia, including his devotees. So worship of his devotees is considered superior. Like that. So therefore Srila Prabhupada says, one should become a servant of the servant. Not think that you directly worship Krishna. Better to worship his devotees, and it's much easier actually. Directly if you worship Krishna, he may have high standards, but his devotees may be maybe softer. They don't mind if you make a few mistakes. They are more compassionate. It's okay, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Question. Lord Shiva is also a devotee, right?
Mhm.
So then worshipping Lord Shiva.
Yeah, if you worship him as a Vaishnava, it's okay. But if you're going to worship him as a Supreme Lord, then it's not okay. Because you don't have sufficient understanding of his position in relation to Krishna. If you want to worship that way. Most people don't know. But he's a servant of Krishna also. If you worship him as a guru, a Vaishnava leader, yes, that's acceptable.
He's one of the Acharya from
Mahajans, Acharya also, yeah, Sampradaya, hate like that.
Is it also proper understanding that sometimes, because Lord Shiva, when you worship as a demigod, he gives whatever the person's desire. But in case of devotees, what is their mood? I guess they, in order to satisfy whoever is, they give whatever the person wants. Devotees.
It depends. If you go and ask maybe Hari Vallabh for $1 million, you worship him. He may or may not give. But that's up to him, right? The same way, but the demigod situation is slightly different. The devotee situation is slightly different also. When you worship a devotee, you're not asking for material things. Oftentimes, if you go to a devotee ask for material things, then your relationship won't be pure. There's contamination already. So you see as a business relationship, and you'll fail to actually respect one another in due course of time. So therefore, it's not recommended to actually have that kind of relationship with the devotee. It's better if you have it with someone with real business dealings. Devotee relationship should be for enhancing one's Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it is also highly recommended not to do business with devotees.
No mix and match.
Yeah, because you will make mistakes or something will go wrong, and then you will find faults with them. Even the society, even Srila Prabhupada's teachings and stuff like that. So the same way, generally the devotees will refuse if you ask that kind of things, like give me money, unless they are really, really in the bad situation. And I know some devotees help other devotees. Most of the time, they never get back the capital.
Right.
What to speak of the interest? So therefore, they generally don't do that. Mostly they refuse because it's for the benefit of the person or for the benefit of relationship. But in saying no to the other person thinks, what kind of devotee you are. So it's a lack of proper knowledge that makes the other person think, because you are a devotee, you should give money to me so that I can do my business or something. So those kind of relationship is not acceptable. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada says, if you worship Krishna and you want him to be your order supplier, he's not going to listen to you. He don't want to be your order supplier. He say, go find somebody else. So therefore, he has demigods for those kind of things.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Right? If you are only interested in material thing, why approach him? Of course, Sukadev Goswami says, Akama Sarva Kama. But they are people who are Sukriti, pious devotees, who understand the position of Krishna, but still they need some material needs like that. So for them, for the benefit for their spiritual life, they can worship Krishna. But in general, we shouldn't ask Krishna for material things. Just like if you go and ask your Guru Maharaj, I have 2 job offers from Amazon and AT&T. Which one I should take, Guru Maharaj? There's something wrong with that whole thing, because your Guru is spiritually trying to help you, not for material decision like that. So it's not that situation. I mean, of course, if your Guru has background in all this industry, he can tell you, this company is no good. That's a different matter altogether.
Prabhu, are we not supposed to share like whatever decisions we are making?
Yeah, you can
and-
share, but you don't ask which company to join.
But then it's not like that.
Meaningless.
If the disciple is taking decisions on his own, and they are not even asking the Guru Maharaj, then what should I do? Because
Not
every
like that,
decision
but
should be made, right?
No,
Another devotees.
there is you generally you inquire the spiritual master what spiritual topics. So if you're going to bring up material things, I'm doing this, oh Guru Maharaj, I got this to offers, what do you think? That's wrong. That's totally wrong. In fact, the Guru should also say, oh, very nice, can ask somebody to discuss this. That's what he should say. Yeah. Right? Or you can say, oh Guru Maharaj, I got some sickness, and he blessed me, so the sickness goes. It's the same thing. Yeah. Are you alive, Siddhu? I can't hear you.
Little bit.
Okay.
What are the Guru Maharaj asked, like, how's your work going there? That's like, well, I don't really have a work right now. And he said, oh, then we need some help choosing.
Guru Maharaj may say like that because he doesn't want to see the person being a fool and not working. He has to make sure that materially he's well situated. Unless you are well situated materially, you cannot give time for spiritual things, particularly because we are stuck in this material world. Not everyone can, just give up material thing and become a devotee full, right? So yeah, he'll say, why are you not working? Why are you giving problem to all the other devotees? Like that you can ask. That's for his spiritual well-being also. Yeah. Okay. Right. So then Prabhupada writes, of course, when you are motivated like that, the Lord says, Ye yatamam prabhadyanti tam stataiva bhajami. As you surrender, I reward accordingly. Okay? So then Srila Prabhupada says, nicely, materialistic persons are generally inclined to material profits. That means they want only material profits. So you should also understand when you deal with someone who is very materialistic, they may not understand what you're talking about spiritual topics. It's very difficult. They may not have the qualification what you're trying to give them. So don't force it and push it because then it only becomes, it might fire back. So for such people, you just deal with them nicely. They may want to talk, IBM, some stock, and you can talk a little bit. And they'll say you're normal and then you can go. Right? Otherwise, if you start talking about Krishna, the guy says, what is this guy? I have no common grounds to talk anymore. So next time if you talk, you can say, I got some pressure, I take some, and the guy, and his qualification gets closer to being able to receive a book. So you are giving them the Sukriti. Agyata Sukriti. So Prabhupada also says very nicely, as long as one continues in such an adulterated position, he does not receive the benefit of returning home back to Godhead. So this is for all of you, for all of us. Okay, so if we have all this material inclination, then that benefit of going back may not be given. But if you sincerely do things, I guarantee you at the time of death he will come, Krishna will come to take you back. Okay, text 7.
Yasi dasyasi me kaman.
Yadi dashyasi me kaman.
Varam tvam varadarshava.
Varam tvam varadarshava.
Kamanam prasasamroham.
Kamanam hridya samroham.
Bhavatastu nevaram.
Bhavatastu vrinevaram.
O my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. So Prahlad Maharaj is giving so many reasons he don't want any benediction. But the Lord is saying, I want to give. So then finally he says, okay, if you want to give, this is what I want. So his prayer is very good. He doesn't want any material things. That's our mood should be like that. And that is a reflection of Mahaprabhu's prayers also, from the Shikshashtaka. I don't need any of this. All I want is birth after birth. I want to just serve you.
As your servant.
So then Prabhupada says devotees are always on the positive platform. In contrast to Mayavadis, who want to make everything impersonal or void. They're saying there's nothing, so you don't have to do anything like that. Whereas the devotees want to have a service attitude. They don't want anything material like that. One cannot remain void, sunyavad. Rather, one must possess something. Meaning, you cannot exist without doing anything. By nature, the soul is active. So therefore, you cannot remain void. Just like the young kids here, they're always talking to each other. They cannot not do anything else, right? So that is the nature of the jiva also. He cannot do nothing. He has to do something. One must possess something, must do something like that. So then Prahlad Maharaj, quotes, Srila Prabhupada quotes Prahlad Maharaj. If I must take some benediction from you, I pray that within the core of my heart there may be no material desire. So we also should pray like that. But remember, if you pray like that and Krishna wants to give you, then you must be ready to take. So can artificially do that, then he will test you, and then you'll find that you fail miserably. Then the opposite effect. Oh, I'm not good. I won't do it like that. So that's the other extreme the jiva will take. So then he makes a final point, Srila Prabhupada. The desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not at all material. Okay, so if you have that desire, then it's a spiritual desire, and that is acceptable. Okay, those kind of desires are good. That's what he's saying. All right, text 8.
Indriyani mana prana
Indriyani mana prana
Atma dharmo dhritir mati
Atma dharme moto dhritir
Hrishis tejas smriti satyam
Hrishis tejas smriti satyam
Yasya nashyanti janmana
Yasya nashyanti janmana.
My Lord, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the functions of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. Kamam ridrogam. And the main thing is kama, the lusty desire. So we all have that because we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. We want to enjoy the material energy, but we cannot, because the material energy is not meant for that purpose. The material energy's role is to help us overcome our desires separate from Krishna. So therefore we cannot overcome her. Devi Esha Gunamai, Mama Mai, very difficult to overcome. So therefore, Prabhupada says, liberation means freedom from this kind of lusty desires. As long as you have these material desires, then you're forced to take repeated birth and death. That's what Prabhupada says. And if you don't have these desires fulfilled in one lifetime, you have to come back and fulfill in another lifetime. And in the other lifetime, you create more desires. Then you have to come back again to fulfill that desire. Sometimes they will think, oh, if I was a boy, I'll do all these things. If I was a man, I'll do all this. The next life, they become men. And then they try to fulfill that. And then they'll think, I hate all these things. If I was a woman, I don't have to do all this. So the life after that, they'll become woman. So this kind of repeated birth death going on and on and on, life after life. But it's all temporary. Each situation is for one desire or a specific number of desires you can fulfill. And then another desire comes. So every life you are going through, you are creating more and more desires. It's like not just one seed. Each seed has more seeds within inside it.
Yeah, true.
Right? For example, you buy a brand new house. Okay, brand new you build. So then what happens? What are some of the things you have to do to build a house? Advaita?
I get the wood.
Huh?
I get the wood, and you have to hire the workers.
Wood.
And you have to buy the house.
What are you tasting, the Bhagavatam?
No, this.
Okay, I couldn't see it. Okay, get some wood. What kind of wood you want? Let's say all of that is built already. Then you come in the house. You want to choose colors, paint, right?
Paint.
Then what flooring?
Flooring.
This stone, nice wood. What else?
Nice bathrooms, nice.
Yeah, nice bathroom. Yeah. What color, right? Whether you want what the tub or no tub, shower head, big head or small head.
Security.
Oh, yeah, security.
Security. Just see how many headaches, no? Already.
Sofas.
Internet.
Sofas.
Yeah.
Heating.
Wi-Fi.
Sofas.
Oh, heating, yeah. And
Most
AC
important,
around.
Nice
Beds.
facilities.
Carpet.
If you have stone, then you have to buy rugs.
Nice walls.
Nice.
Proper quality doors.
Proper quality doors.
Doors, yeah, good doors. Yeah.
Protect from earthquake.
Yeah.
Nice furniture.
Yeah, furniture. So you can see how many things, right? Then also that is not good enough because you choose one color, then you say, no, I have to ask my husband or wife, right? They'll
So
ask,
much discussion.
then they'll have discuss, they go back, then they have to pick the stones, they have to match, they have to put together, they look, and then they sing, right? They do all that. Then they buy a big painting, maybe I want Krishna Lila or Rasa Lila or Krishna Balaram, right?
By the time after 3 months,
Yeah.
whatever we bought, we see one more. and
Outdated.
Yeah. Not happy. I should have bought that. I made a mistake. He was giving me extra 20% discount. I should have got it. We do that. So it's like that.
But Prabhu, as Kaliuga progresses, the desires are
Increasing.
No,
increasing.
no, it's the same. It's just that the desires are always, the nature of desires are like that. If it's not centered on Krishna, it is just like a banyan tree, the seeds. It just creates more big tree inside one small seed, which creates more seeds.
Web.
That's-
It's like web of illusion.
The question you're asking, I was thinking, and at least when my childhood is, there's not many options. You just no TV, no phones.
I understand, but then you see, because you were not exposed to so many things, that desire did not manifest.
Ah.
But as soon as you came to the desire loka, right? America, all these desires came. Where from? You do not know. Right or not? Yeah. So this country is made for enjoyment.
We didn't have phone.
Huh?
Yeah.
My US interview was on my uncle's home because we didn't have phone.
It's like that. This country is for that, and you go India is like tapaloka,
Tapalog, yeah.
austerities, very
Everywhere
difficult.
there is a long queue.
Everywhere is long.
Even if you want to pay the bill,
Yeah, then when
But nowadays it's changing.
now it's changing.
Yeah, they think it's changing.
Paytm and whatever.
Taking money
Have
from
cars
you.
Huh?
honking on
Yeah, it will still be the
highway.
same. India won't change.
Sun will be scorching.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So therefore, Prabhupada says, unalloyed devotion to the service of the Lord is the only spiritual desire. To fulfill this spiritual desire, however, one must be free from all material desires. Desirelessness means freedom from material desires. So that's a very difficult position to attain because we have so many material desires. So we need to purify our material desires to come to the state of pure spiritual desires.
So I didn't understand the English of this verse translation. Because of lusty desires from the beginning of one's birth, all these qualities are vanquished. How will they be vanquished by
All the
lusty
good qualities, right? Right? all the good qualities become vanquished because of material desires. Instead of using it in the service of Krishna, those qualities are used for one's own material desires. So therefore you lose all those intelligence, religiousness, senses are not used properly like that. That the whole idea is if you have material desires, you cannot properly use your senses, intelligence, mind, etc., for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So that is what it means by it being vanquished. All right, text 9.
Vimunchati yada kaman
Vimunchate yada kaman
manavo manasi stitan
manavo manasi sthitan
tarhi eva pundarikaksha
tarheva pundarikaksha
bhagavata
Bhagavattavaya kalpate.
Oh my Lord, when a human being is able to give up all the material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours. So maybe when people read that, they want to go back to Godhead. Because their material desire will be in line with Krishna. Basically, what it means is Bhagavattvaya, to be equally as opulent means to be the same as the Supreme Lord, like that, becoming as good as the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada mentions that. Sridhar Swami comments, Bhagavattvaya Bhagavat Saman Aishwaryaya. Bhagavatva, becoming as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not mean becoming one with Him or equal to Him. Although in the spiritual world, the servant is equally as opulent as the master. The servant of the Lord is engaged in the service of the Lord as a servant, friend, father, mother, or conjugal lover, all of whom are equally as opulent as the Lord. This is a Chintya Veda Veda Tattva. The master and the servant are different, yet equal in opulence. The Lord arranges for you to have similar opulence. This is the meaning of simultaneous difference from the Supreme Lord and oneness with Him. Now, the thing is, it's not that the Lord has only a limited opulence. The Lord is unlimited, but He can give you the same opulence for the pastime or like that, with Him. Or within the spiritual world, you can have so much opulence. It seems that you have unlimited opulence. Because the Lord can give you unlimited. That's the
Because
idea.
we will use it for His pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. And you will only use it for His pleasure. And therefore, it is okay. Text 10.
Om Namo Bhagavate Tobhyam
Om Namo Bhagavate Tobhyam
Purushaya Mahatmane
Purushaya Mahatmane
Haraye
Adbhuta Simhaya
Brahmane Paramatmane
Brahmane Paramatmane.
Nice prayer. O my Lord, full of 6 opulences, O Supreme Person, O Supreme Soul, killer of all miseries, O Supreme Person in the form of a wonderful lion and man, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Yes. In the Prabhupada, Prabhupada says, this does not mean that the devotee loses his position as a servant. Again, the word Bhagavatva. A pure servant of the Lord, although as opulent as the Lord, is still meant to offer respectful obeisances to the Lord in service. Okay, so carrying on from the previous verse, just because he has equal opulence doesn't mean he's not going to pay obeisances. Like that. Still meant to offer respectful obeisances in the service. Prahlad Maharaj was engaged in pacifying the Lord, and therefore he did not consider himself equal to the Lord. He defined his position as a servant and offered respectful obeisances unto the Lord. That was the point here. Text 11.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Naikantino me Maijat Hashisha
Naikantino me Mayajatu Yasisha
Ashasate च भवद्विदा
अशास्त्रे मूत्र च मे भवद्विधा
तथापि मन्वन्तरम् एतदत्र
तथापि मन्वन्तरमेतदत्र
दैतेश्वरन्नम् अनुवंशकभोगान्
दैत्येश्वराणामनुभुङ्क्ष्वभोगान्.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Prahlad, a devotee like you never desires any kind of material opulences, either in this life or in the next. Nonetheless, I order you to enjoy the opulences of the demons in this material world, acting as their king until the end of the duration of time occupied by Manu." That's a long time. That means it's like 71 times 4.3 million years. That's like 305.3 million years. It's a long time. He says you enjoy. Just enjoy. So it's like people want so much to enjoy, but how much can they enjoy, right? Even like we were talking the other day, the man was living 104 years old, but he couldn't enjoy anymore.
Yeah.
So he wanted to commit suicide.
The devotees will not be happy. What Prahlad Maharaj would have felt, right?
Yeah.
For
So the
so
Lord is
many
saying, I
years.
want you to be the king. So he will do it as a service. So he'll be happy to do the service. The joy is in serving the Lord. Yeah. So you cannot live for long, most of us, Prabhupada said, how long can they live? Maybe 80, 90 or 100 probably, but not long. We all have to give it up. Our body has to go. And so they try to develop so much the paraphernalia and opulence in this world just to enjoy. But how much can you enjoy? Right? Everybody has to work so hard, no? First, as a little boy, after you go to school, you have to work only. Right? All the way, you have to work. That's why it's better to be in homeschool, so you have to work less. So they work so hard, and then they go to company, they work so much, and then finally, when they are old, they retire, thinking they're going to enjoy. Now, what is the enjoyment?
Body is already
Right? Your body is already gone.
gone.
Once you reach around 50, 40 starts. Around
40?
40, beginning early 40s, your eyesight will go first. Yeah. And then slowly, everything, all the other faculties will go down slowly. Where is the enjoyment? No enjoyment. Right? You cannot even eat too much. Remember I was telling you, eat too much, they'll say you have diabetes. Yeah. Can I eat too much sugar? Can I eat too much salt? You have blood pressure.
Body pain.
I saw also philosophy change with people, when they were young, they'll say, no, you can eat, man, it's so good. They'll eat all the sugar, the sweets and all. And later on, they get diabetes, you have to cut down on sugar. It's not healthy, So all the whole philosophy is like that. Then as they get even older, then because the body cannot pump properly, blood pressure problem comes, kidneys failure and all. They say, no, salt is no. Less is good. Everything, philosophy change. So you should reflect and see how I was before, how I'm talking now. So here, the enjoying the material opulence, we should be very careful what we can enjoy, or actually we should be using it in the service of Krishna. Whereas for Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord says, I order you to enjoy. So he's given the permission to enjoy. So therefore he can enjoy. For us, we are not at that level as Prahlad Maharaj, because he's pure devotee. What do you think he's going to enjoy? He's going to use in the service of Krishna. So that's his enjoyment. Whereas we will really try to enjoy our senses, whereas he's not going to enjoy the senses. Right? So Srila Prabhupada also says the Lord allowed him to enjoy material opulence as the king of the materialist. Because Hiranyakashipu was the king, and he's dead, so his son inherits everything. Hiranyakashipu didn't want to give him his son all those things. Remember, he said, "I'll kill you." So, in one sense, from this particular statement of the Lord, you can also say, as a devotee, you don't have to hanker for material desires, because the Lord will give you what you need, right?
So here, Lord is given what Prahlad Maharaj don't want it, right? But then what is the question of what?
Why he's giving? He wants him to be the king of the materialists, so they can guide them to become devotees.
Mahajan.
Yeah. And he's a Mahajan also, right? One of the 12 Mahajans. So if you are a devotee, the pleasures to enjoy, Krishna will give you a little bit here and there. So you can see sometimes. Some things will come and you have to ask yourself, why is this coming to me? You have to ask yourself. You have to be careful. It could be a test also. So Prabhupada says, if the Lord is going to give you how to enjoy material happiness, therefore you should take up devotional service and all circumstances and enjoy that. Right? So the point is, if you are focused in Krishna, and then the enjoyment will come. But not like a demon who wants to enjoy without Krishna. Unnecessarily they try to enjoy. It will not be good. Okay, text 12.
Kartamatiya Dusamana Kartamatiya Dusamana Kartamatiya Dusamana Priyastvam
Katamariya Dusamana Priyastvam Aveshya Mamatmani Shantamekam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Adhiyagnamisham Yajasva Yogena Chakarma.
It does not matter that you are in the material world. You should always continuously hear the instructions and messages given by me and always be absorbed in thought of me, for I am the super soul existing in the core of everyone's heart. Therefore give up fruitive activities and worship me. He's giving the same instructions that you hear every time, right? Even if you're in the material world, you still do the japa. Chant your rounds. Particularly Srila Prabhupada has made it easy. We are all chanting 16 rounds a day. So we should set aside the time to chant. Sometimes when your spiritual master is here, you may be running, doing service. It may be difficult, but still you should finish your quota for the day. No putting it on a safe box. Yeah, no safe deposit box. You have to do it. If you can't sleep, just stay up and chant. And then you can go and sleep. That's how you should be. You should be focused. Because you made a vow, no? In the yagya, like that. So one should be thinking like that. So of course, Prahlad Maharaj is thinking, what did I do wrong? Why are you making me enjoy? But really, in the whole of, So he says, no, there's no offense. You can enjoy this and worship me at the same time by bhakti yoga. Okay? You don't have to do any material things, you just worship me. That's what he's saying. All the instructions that are given, you have to meditate on that. And he says, therefore, give up fruitive activities and worship me. So he makes it clear, don't do fruitive activities, but the service should be for me. That's what he's saying. Do the activities, but it shouldn't be fruitive. Okay? So it's very clear, this message is. People interpret it differently and think, oh, he can do, but the Lord is making sure that such fools don't use it for those things. So he says, give up fruitive activities.
So is it for our case, or is it for us, that particular instruction, or Prahlad Maharaj
Still, he's saying because people will misunderstand Prahlad Maharaj. They'll say, "Oh, I'm also like Prahlad
Oh,
Maharaj."
yeah, okay.
Or they'll say, "Okay, maybe you never know." The people will read and say, "How do you know he didn't do fruitive activities to enjoy himself?" They will talk like that. These people are so smart. No? So therefore, the Lord is qualified there. Even if the Lord didn't say it, Srila Prabhupada has put that karma hinvan means giving up fruitive activities. So Prabhupada made sure that we understand clearly what it means. So he quotes Narottam Das Thakur. Actually in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says a devotee in the first portion. A devotee in this material world uses all material opulences for the service of the Lord. So here Prabhupada gives a definition of how he uses his opulence, okay, his material. So which means we should also analyze and see how we are using our material things that we have in the service of Krishna. Because the whole idea is we are planning our lives to go around the Supreme Lord, centered around Krishna. Okay? Some things are easy because we also want it. Some things we know we don't have to do it. Like when we want to eat, we don't mind offering that to Krishna. Right? Why are you laughing? Right?
We don't mind offering it.
Yeah, because you are actually getting back. Yeah. That's why you don't mind.
Yes. If Lord really takes it,
the Lord really takes it, then He will not give it.
Yeah. If the Lord takes it, then you are like a
be careful how much.
little boy.
Moderate. Enough.
There was one man, his son. What's his son's name? Raghavendra? I think it's Raghavendra. His father asked him, he was going out of village. He was a Brahmin. So he said, Raghunath? Raghavendra? Raghunath. Okay, Raghunath. Let's say it's Raghunath. The boy was Raghunath. So his father, I forgot his name, he went out of the city to do some business, Brahminical work. So he told his wife, I'm going to tell the boy, he's a little boy only, maybe Raghunandan, 6 or 7 years. 6 or 7 years, or maybe close to 10. So the father said, you're always playing, come and do this service. When I'm gone, offer it, make sure the Lord takes the lunch. And then after that, he didn't tell him what else. They say, make sure the Lord takes. If you don't, I will chastise you. So he went. So the mother made the plate at lunchtime, Rajbhoga, he said, offer. So the boy went and took, and then he did the prayers that he was storing the bell, and then he waited, Then nothing happened. So then he got worried. My father said he'll beat me, So he started praying to the Lord, please take. And he started crying a lot. So when he started crying, real emotion, the Lord came and said, okay, don't cry, I'll eat. So then the Lord ate the whole thing, and then he left him some. He said, no, you better eat, because Father said everything must be eaten. So the Lord finished the whole plate. Then he said, okay. Then he took the empty plate and brought it. His mother said, what happened? The Lord ate, and then he went out to play. So then the father was coming back. So he came to us, where's the lunch, Then he said, your son offered, but the plate came back empty. So they thought he ate, Yeah, so then he called the son and said, what happened to the Prasad Bhoga? Where is it, all the Prasad? He said, I offered, Krishna take. So he was angry. He started scolding. The boy cried and said, no, the Lord ate. He said, you're lying, you don't talk like that. He said, no, the Lord really ate. So then he told his wife, okay, you prepare again, we'll ask him to offer. So then I think evening or sometime later, they made another Bhoga offering. So the boy was asked to offer. So he went, and then again he rang the bell, but this time the father hid behind. And then he was hiding and watching. So the boy started crying, and then the Lord again appeared in front. So the Lord said, I'll eat. Then he looked at the father who was hiding and said, you're a rascal, Yeah, and he said, you have no, I'll never give you your mercy. Your son is exalted like that. And then the Lord left like that.
Abhiram.
Huh? Abhiram?
Abhiram Thakur.
Thakur? I do not know the name. I
It was
can't
like
remember.
Mukunda or something.
Huh?
It was his father was like Mukunda.
Oh, I do not know. That's why I said I forgot the name.
And
But,
Mukunda Sarkar.
but that's the story. So the Lord will come if you give it for His pleasure. But the reason why I say this is because we all offer because we know He's coming back. That's the reason. So we don't mind that. But when other things like give something in charity, oh, it hurts too much. It hurts too much.
Because that we know that it's definitely going.
It's not coming back.
It's not coming
It's
back.
not coming back. So you can see, based on that, you will see how much you attach to those material things. Like for example, I know some devotees who are retired and they've been working for many years in very high order in offices, in oil industries and so on. They got millions of dollars. But when you tell them give some donation to temple, a couple of thousand, they say no. And I know one person who has only one son, and the son is not Krishna conscious, and he's nonsense also. So we told him, if you die, all the money will go to the boy, and he's going to waste the money. And this guy is a devotee. He says, "Yeah, I guess so," like that, So we realized this person was so attached to the money, even though you're initiated, even though you're chanting, but you could not give that up. Yeah. So we have to be very careful about all these things, what we associate with, and too much into karma kanda activities, even though we say we are devotees, right? But we all are fruitive in the mentality. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, karma kanda kind of things, jnana kanda are for less intelligent people, okay? Because it's not approaching Krishna purely. So he writes, Narottam Das Thakur says in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Vishara Bandha. Both Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, fruitive activities and speculation about the Supreme Lord are like pots of poison. Visha. One who is attracted to Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda spoils his existence as a human being. So it's very important. We should think very carefully why I am a devotee of Krishna. Okay. Sure, maybe you can make mistake and come back in a different lifetime to continue your Krishna consciousness. But then if you come back again, what is the guarantee that you will still be in Prabhupada's movement, right? So therefore, you should be thinking like that favorably. Text 13.
Bhogena punyam kushalena papam.
Bhogena punyam kushalena papam.
Kale varam kala javena hitva.
Kale varam kala javena hitva.
Kirtim vishuddham shuraloka gitam.
Kirtim vishuddham shuraloka gitam.
Vitayamam eshashi mukta bandha.
Vidayamam eshashi mukta bandha.
Here the Lord is saying Mukta Bandha means you are already liberated from previous life. Everything you've done is already over. So he says, my dear Prahlad, while you are in this material world, you will exhaust all the reactions of pious activity by feeling happiness, and by acting piously, you will neutralize impious activity. Because of the powerful time factor, you will give up your body. But the glories of your activities will be sung in the upper planetary systems, and in fully free from all bondage, you will return home back to Godhead. Okay. So here he is actually a Jivan Mukta. He was born like that. So we understand from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says, Evam Prahladasyangshena sadhana siddhatvam nitya siddhatvam cha naradadvija jnanam. There are two classes of devotees, the sadhana siddha and the nitya siddha. Prahlad Maharaj is a mixed siddha, meaning that is, he is he's perfect partly because of executing devotional service and partly because of eternal perfection. Thus is compared to such devotees as Narada. Formerly, Narada Muni was the son of a maidservant, and therefore in his next birth he attained perfection, sadhana siddhi, because of having executed devotional service. Yet he is also Nitya Siddha because he never forgets the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means through sadhana he perfects, and then he goes back to Godhead, and if the Lord sends you back, you are Nitya Siddha. Like that. That's one way to understand this thing. So all of us are in the category of sadhana bhakti. So when we perfect it, we will become sadhana siddhis. Yeah. And then we can go back to God. If the Lord sends us, then we will be one of the Nitya Siddhas. Okay, so one of the things that in the next paragraph Srila Prabhupada highlights is we are all living in this material world, and therefore it's very difficult. Even if you don't want to act impiously, it is passion that there is always danger. That means even if you don't want, you may be forced to do something you don't like. Huh? But if you are very Krishna conscious, Krishna will protect you. But if you are on the borderline, always giving in to your senses and mind, then you will always fall down. And also, even when you are trying your best, you get different objections. Your parents may not like you to be a devotee, or maybe your child was a devotee, but when they grow up, they don't like it. They say, I don't want to be devotional anymore. You spoil my life, They will say, I've seen it. Yeah, they say, you wasted my life. You never understood what I went through. You're talking about what you wanted us. They talk like that. Yeah. So it's like that. So if you train properly, you have to train with a lot of affection and otherwise we'll create many enemies like that unnecessarily. So obviously the person who had the biggest enemy was Prahlad Maharaj. So he knows that. But in any case, whatever our situation is, Prabhupada said, the devotee should expertly manage to think always of the Supreme Lord so that the reactions of suffering cannot touch him. Meaning even if they are in difficult situation, they should somehow see how the Lord is behind all those. Okay? That is the expert management of Papa Punya. Pious and impious. That means, I'm getting some nice things. You should think Krishna is kind to me. Or I'm getting some impious reactions. Oh, such a rascal I am. It could be worse. Krishna has protected me so much. So that's how Srila Prabhupada told us. If the reaction comes, we should think it could be worse. It could be worse, but Krishna is so kind. Like that. So that is how he says you manage your Papa Punya. Management. So, and the other thing that is also stated here is that not only and by acting you will neutralize impious activity. People who also know about him, right? They also will get some benediction also. In this case, Prahlad Maharaj is Jivan Mukta. At the end, Srila Prabhupada says, before even he was born, he was already liberated. Text 14, which is what I was going to talk next. One who always remembers your activities and my activities also, and who chants the prayers you have offered, becomes free in due course of time from the reactions of material activities. So here the Lord is giving a benediction. Okay, so benediction. What is that benediction? Prabhupada says here it is stated that anyone who chants and hears about the activities of Prahlad Maharaj and in relationship with Prahlad's activities, the activities of Narasingha Dev gradually becomes free from all the bondage of fruitive activities. Prabhupada is very kind. And he also makes sure that we understand. Gradually you become. Because everyone wants instant, right? Instant gratification. It's not gradually you become. So this is a boon he is giving. Not only are you a Jivan Mukta, but anyone who knows or remembers you, your activities and your and Krishna's activities will become free of bondage. Therefore he says, right? Mahayam Tvaya Geetam. The song you sang to please me. If they know that prayers also, like that. So this process will be functional for any kind of personalities. Okay. Even one born in a family of meat eaters is purified if he engages in devotional service of Krishna. The rest of the information is to describe that Prahlad's position is Jivan Mukta, like that. Srila Prabhupada discusses those things. Srila Prabhupada says, even one born in a family of meat eaters is purified if he engages in devotional service. And you can use that also to support anyone who questions you. You can chant the same verse, because Jiva Goswami also used that. Text 15 to 17.
Shri Prahlada Vacha.
Shri Prahlada Vacha.
Varam Varaya Etatte.
Varam Varaya Etatte.
Varadeshan Maheshwara.
Varadeshan Maheshwara.
Yadanindat Pitame.
Yadanindat Pitame.
Tvam Avidvam Steja Aishwaram.
Tvam Avidvam Steja Aishwaram.
Vidyamarshashaya Sakshat.
Vidyamarshashaya Sakshat.
Sarvaloka Gurum Prabhum.
Sarvaloka Gurum Prabhum.
Bhattarheti Mrishadrishtis.
Bhattarheti Mrishadrishtis.
Tvadbhakte Mai Chagava Van.
Tvadbhakte Mai Chagavan.
Tasmat Pite Me Puyeta.
Tasmat Pite Me Puyeta.
Duranta Dushtaradagat.
Duranta Dushtaradagat.
Utaste Panga Samrishtas.
Utaste Panga Samrishtas.
Tada Kripana Vatsala.
Tada Kripana Vatsala.
Prahlad Maharaj said, "Oh Supreme Lord, because you are so merciful to the fallen souls, I ask you for only one benediction. I know that my father, at the time of his death, had already been purified by your glance upon him, but because of his ignorance of your beautiful power and supremacy, he was unnecessarily angry at you, falsely thinking that you were the killer of his brother. Thus he directly blasphemed your lordship, the spiritual master of all living beings, and committed heavily sinful activities directed against me, your devotee. I wish that he be excused for these sinful activities."
Compassion.
Look at his mercy, no? Of Prahlad. Well, if we were in that situation, in this conscience, we'll say, "Yeah, no, let him suffer." You will think that, right? You can see the consciousness in the present age. How you know? You watch all these movies, right? The hero will smash the enemy and blow them in pieces. Everyone claps in the theater, right? Or not? Yeah, yeah. Or they all blow whistle. I saw one video some devotee showed me of the theater in India. So every time the hero come, all whistling only, you know.
Maybe Rajnikant.
So it was like crazy, you know. It's so loud also. I'll say how they enjoy, you know. Every time we'll go for 5-10 minutes, they're whistling. You know? So this is how these people are.
Yeah.
Whatever the can't, you can't really. So it's like that, no? So he is thinking, please help this person. Whereas when our consciousness is not purified, we are thinking, no, we should bash them. Even as practicing devotees, I know if another devotee does something wrong, they burn in their heart. They say, I hope the person fall down. I hope some reaction comes. They are playing like that. It's like I cannot understand sometimes. You cannot. That's not our practice. So those are wrong. There is not a devotional service. They're still in the materialistic way. Just like Drupad and Dronacharya, right? He got so angry. What did he do, Drupad?
He did sacrifice to have childhood.
Yeah, he did a 5 sacrifice, and then to get who? Drishtadyumna to kill somebody. Just imagine, would you do that? So much anger and clouds his intelligence. He wanted to kill him, even though he was a good person. He did that. So we should be very careful. Try to forgive a person. Try to forgive and move on. As previously we read, Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhupada was saying how we should take it as maybe I deserve these things. I must have been a demon in my last life, so now I'm getting the same reaction. One can think like that also. Or if you go through so much difficulty, you must think the Lord is so kind, He's purifying me very quickly in this life. You should think like that. But it's difficult. The only way you can think like that is you must have good association and you must be willing to do service properly. If you don't have those two, it's very hard to accept things. You will get angry with God also. You will fight, you say, no, I don't accept. Why I have to suffer? This is not fair. Like the law better than God Himself. So you come up with such logic, like Hiranyakashipu. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, although Hiranyakashipu was purified, as soon as he came in contact with the Lord's lap and the Lord saw him, Prahlad Maharaj still wanted to hear from the Lord's own mouth that his father had been purified by the Lord's causeless mercy. Even though he knew, it's a Mahabhagavat, he knew, still he wanted the Lord to say yes. Prahlad Maharaj offered this prayer to the Lord for the sake of his father. As a Vaishnava son, despite all the inconveniences imposed upon him by his father, he could not forget his father's affection. So his affection was helped in the right way. Text 18.
Shri
Bhagavan Vacha Shri Saptavilpita Pitravi Sahate Naga Yat Sadhosya Kule Jato Bhavan Vaikula Pavana.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Prahlad, O most pure, O great saintly person, your father has been purified along with 21 forefathers in your family. Because you were born in this family, the entire dynasty has been purified. Just see, 21 generation is purified. Of course, here it says purified. It doesn't say they get pure devotional status. That means purified means the opportunity to take up devotional service. Just like that. On both sides of the family, your mother and father.
So, a lot of times we hear that they're liberated. That's not correct. Right?
No. Here he says purified. Even they say liberated, it's only liberated from the material energy, not that they are liberated back to Godhead.
So if Narshada gives a benediction that 21 of your forefathers would be elevated, then even Brahma would have been elevated.
Yeah. Purified.
Yeah, purified.
Yes.
He didn't have 21 generations.
Well, this also means that in his previous birth also, Prabhupada says that he may have taken from a different life before coming, right?
Yeah.
A different family is also involved. So Prabhupada writes, when a Vaishnava takes birth in a family by the grace of the Lord, he purifies not only that family but also the families of his previous births.
Wow. Then it is countless, no? Prabhu?
21.
Yeah.
No, previous births, so many births.
He says 21 generations.
Oh, what if Maharaj should take a previous birth?
What if?
But Maharaj was a
You could
devotee.
talk properly. I don't know.
If Maharaj was a devotee, then I thought he was supposed to be in a spiritual world, so he wanted to take a
Speak louder, clear.
Slow down.
Louder, say.
If Prahlad
If Maharaj was a devotee,
was a devotee,
so then he in his previous lives he would not have been in this material world.
he wasn't in a spiritual world. In previous life, he was also a person like you and I. And then he was given a mercy, and then he became a devotee. Okay? Yeah. It is said like that in the Narsingha Purana.
22nd generation.
Huh?
The 22nd generation is unfortunate.
Just missed the cutoff.
Well, I don't see it like that. It's just that nobody will know because they're from many generations, so they can't count.
So, Prabhu, previous generation means their sons, and it's like
Yeah.
it's just the father and mother, or it's like their children.
No, it's not the children, it's the parents.
It's only the
It seems
parents.
like only.
Okay.
Just checking in case.
Cover it or not.
It seems like that.
Okay.
Just purified.
Purified.
Text 19.
Yatra yatra cha madbhakta
Yatra yatra cha madbhakta
Prasanta samadarshina
Prashanta samadarshina
Sadava samuddat
Charas.
Sadhava
Sadhava.
Sadava
Already. Next line.
Te priyante pikita
Te puyante pikataha.
Whenever and wherever there are peaceful, equipoised devotees who are well behaved and decorated with all good qualities, that place and the dynasties there, even if condemned, are purified.
Actually, condemned means condemned.
Entire countries.
That place.
Means
My
lower births.
Huh? Not only their dynasties, but the entire country is purified. Prabhupada writes in the purport. Yeah. If they are exalted devotees, if they are very advanced. Like that. Text 20.
Sarvatmanana himshanti
Sarvatmanana himsante
Bhutagrameshu kinchana
Bhutagrameshu kinchana
Uchavacheshu Daitendra
Uchavacheshu Daitendra
Madbhava Vigataspraha
Madbhava Vigataspraha.
My dear Prahlad, king of the Daityas, because of being attached to devotional service to me, my devotee does not distinguish between lower and higher living entities. In all respects, he is never jealous of anyone. Text 21.
Bhavanti Purushaloke
Bhavante Purusha Loke
Madbhaktasvam Anuvata
Madbhakta Swam Anuvrataha
Bhavan Me Kalu Bhaktanam
Bhavan Me Kalu Bhaktanam
Sarvesham Pratirupadrik
Sarvesham Pratirupadrik.
Those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotees. You're the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps.
Wow. Lord is speaking back.
Yeah, you can't say anything else now, right?
Certified.
So that's why Prabhupada really likes Prahlad Maharaj. He always quotes him.
Lord.
This is
He's
like
one
getting
of the 12 Mahajans. Yes?
this is like getting
Certificate.
your certification.
Certification. Yeah.
Ultimate certificate.
So there's so many 12 Mahajans. Prabhupada said Prahlad is understood to be the best example
Wow.
of the 12 Mahajans. Okay. All right, the last verse for today, text 22.
Kuratvam preta krityani
Kurudvam preta krityani
pitu putasya sarvasa
pitu bhutasya sarvasah
madanga sparshanenanga
madanga sparshanenanga
lokan yashyati supraja.
lokan yashyati supraja.
My dear child, your father has already been purified just by the touch of my body at the time of his death. Nonetheless, the duty of a son is to perform the Shraddha ritualistic ceremony after his father's death so that his father may be promoted to a planetary system where he may become a good citizen and devotee. Purport, the whole purport is very nice. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although Hiranyakashipu was already purified, he had to take birth on a higher planetary system to become a devotee again. Prahlad Maharaj was advised to perform the ritualistic ceremony as a matter of etiquette for the Supreme Personality of Godhead under no circumstances wants to stop the regulatory principles. That means to set good example. Otherwise he's a king, so he has to do it. And then Madhava Muni, he gives this instruction, also says a similar thing. When the demons Madhu and Kaitaba were killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their kinsmen also observed the ritualistic ceremony so that these demons could return home back to Godhead also. So the rituals are all done for the benefit of the jiva. So whether they are and it may not be good for the living jiva atma who's suffering in the hell or somewhere. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting to say that is Hiranyakashipu going to take birth in a higher planetary system to become a devotee again? Not necessarily, because after a few millenniums he takes birth as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, like both of them. So it's hard to say. Maybe he does go through some purification as demigod or whatever, and then takes birth as a demon again. Possible, yeah.
Because Shingve says he's
so when you are killed by like Vishnu or what, you go to higher planetary system. And when you're killed by Krishna, you go back to Godhead. That's what it seems like.
Yes. I think there was discussion with Lagu Baba. Only when Krishna kills, then they get.
Right.
Prabhuji, here in the first line it says, your father has been purified just by touch of my body.
Yes.
So we also touch Lord when we worship. But we don't have the consciousness that he.
You don't have the consciousness, you don't have the faith.
Mm.
You have to feel that you are really touching the Lord. Then you'll already be purified. But because we are so contaminated and we are always getting contaminated, we get covered over. But the system works, that's the point. And that's why the acharyas tell us to do deity worship and so on. Worshipping Tulasi, all that to help us purify quickly. Right, Tulsi? Krishna. Yeah, we are supposed to worship Tulsi. Right or no?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I sometimes put water on the table.
Yeah. Can we put water on you?
No.
Why?
Oh, I do in a good bath.
No, I say, can we put water on you?
No.
Why? Interesting. All right. Prabhupada ki
Jai.